Hello everyone and welcome to this week's video by Com Science Simplified. This week we look into another one of those buzzwords related to JavaScript which I'm sure you all might have heard about, hoisting. Let's dig straight into it and learn about this easy to understand yet important JavaScript topic. So, what is hoisting? Let us look at a few examples and understand it through those. So what would be the output of this small code snippet? If you come from a C++ or a Java background, you would lose your mind right now. You'd say, what? The value of the variable is being set before it is declared? That's crazy, you would say, and confidently state that the snippet would result in an error. Well, I'm here to blow your mind and tell you that the output will be 2. No errors. With that newfound information and the small shock to your brain, if I now show you this code snippet and ask you what would be the output, what do you say? This time you would take longer to examine these 2 lines of code. Some of you might be tempted to say that as the code displayed proper output of 2 last time, it would show the same thing this time too. Some others, the smarter ones, would point out that this time around there is no mention of A anywhere before logging it, and hence we would get a reference error. Alas, both of you are wrong. This time around we get the output as undefined. No errors again, by the way. Mind blown yet? So before you punch the screen and make a crack on it, let's see what exactly is going on to understand it better. Well, this is where a little bit of knowledge about how JavaScript code is understood by the compiler comes in handy. For a broad overview of the Chrome V8 compiler, check out this video. For all those who have seen that video or who already know, compilers follow something called the JIT compilation or just-in-time compilation strategy. What that means is, before actually interpreting the code, the compiler sweeps the line of code in the vicinity to do some important tasks. One of those is to find and associate all the variables and their respective scopes. Another way to state that is, all the variables and function declarations are seen by the compiler first before doing anything else, which gives us the impression that they might as well be hoisted to the top of that particular scope. The code segment that we looked at first would look to the compiler like this. Well, now it makes sense why the output would be 2 and there would be no errors. The second code snippet would look something like this to the compiler, and that is why at the time of console logging, the value that A would hold was undefined. One way to think of this concept is that the declaration of the variable got moved up to the top of the scope or got hoisted like a flag, and that's why it's called that. But do notice that only the declaration of the variable is hoisted and not the definition or the assignment logic. Also, the hoisting is limited only to the particular scope that the variable is present in, which in these 2 cases is the global scope. Hoisting also works with function declarations. Let us examine how that happens. In this code snippet, it is again perfectly valid to call the function before its declaration, because hoisting comes into the picture here as well. This snippet of code looks to the compiler like this. An important thing to note here is that a variable A inside the function declaration got hoisted too, but only to the top of its own scope, and that is the function foo, and not anywhere outside it. Keep that in mind, it's an important little detail. While those are the things that get hoisted, there are some that do not. Let us look at what those are. Only a function declaration gets hoisted and not a function expression. To know the difference about them, check out this video on our channel. Also notice we get a type error here and not a reference error. Do you know why that is? It's because by the rules of hoisting, the where foo got hoisted to the top of the current scope. That means there is something in the current scope with the name as foo, but the line of code assigning it to the function does not get hoisted, which means that the variable still holds an undefined value at the time of the function call, and that's the reason for the type error. Let us now look at an interesting scenario where a variable with the same name is competing with a function for hoisting. When we call this code segment, wherein we have the same name foo assigned to a variable and also have a function with the same name in the scope, what would take preference? In other words, what would get hoisted higher? Well, in cases like these, we see that the function declaration gets hoisted higher and thus the code snippet is interpreted by the engine like this. Thus, we get 1 as the output of this code. If you called foo below the line where it is being assigned to the new function, you would get 2 as the output, of course. That's it for this video. For more detailed information, do visit the link in the description to You Don't Know JS series on GitHub. Subscribe to our channel and share it with others if you liked it. Also, do check out our other videos. They are equally awesome. Thanks again. Until next time, happy learning.